Alrighty then, so we're on our way to go and pick up a Mk3 Astra saloon that happened to be spotted for sale by the roadside. Went halfers on it with Kenzo at a total cost of 200 quid. So it's not the tidiest thing in the world, but the reason thinking behind it is, the thought process behind it is to go and use up a whole pile of Mk3 Astra stuff that's in the unit, such as the Cesaro interior and bumpers, and there's an XE sitting there and there's sets of wheels. Aye, wouldn't have bought it if it was a hatchback, but because it's a saloon it's a bit more interesting, so. And it also means that it's going to force me to strip the Mk3 diesel estate that's been sitting in the unit doing nothing for ages. I have to do that now because we don't have any space for the red Astra. So aye, it's a sunny day and a nice wee run out for the recovery truck. So it's got a bit of a rusty arch, but we've had a good poke about it, and it's mostly surface rust on it. Doesn't actually look like it needs much in the way of welding. This arch is more salvageable, and it's quite good in that it's an LS rather than a Merit, because it's got electric windows and it's even got a rev counter, so we'll get rid of all this interior and fit the black dash and a decent steering wheel and put an XE in it. And aye, won't be the most mint thing in the world, but it'll do the job. It's tidy enough. The engine's, the alternator's seized, so it won't run, but non-ABS, battery tray looks solid enough. So I just mainly surface rust down in amongst that. So aye, we'll throw this away and get to it. So I hope he's left the key out for this, because if I can get it to start I'll just go and turn the truck round and park it outside his house. That'll do, and then we can just hopefully just drive it across the road. If he's pushed it out the garage then the brakes can't be seized on.
I want to get in his garage and see what's in there. That's what I'm intrigued to do. I'm desperate to get in there. I seem to be circle in it. When I was talking to you, I'm talking about the Mk3 Astra. That one. So I've been told that there's hundreds of stuff in there, so I would really love to get in there.
Well, mostly the old Vauxhall stuff and all, isn't it?
Aye, well, for years and years people have said to me that there is stuff in there. So.
Chap, you'll recognise this when we get here probably if you're local. It's where all the old Vauxhalls sit. Some of them sit there for years at a time and never seem to move, but this Astra hasn't been there for that long. Put it on Facebook yesterday and quite a few people were like, oh I saw that. It's because it's a saloon, there's interest in it. If it was a 5-door hatch nobody would care.
Maybe we were keen up shots one time and the old boys would be sitting there doing up 8-year-old, you'd be like, oh, you're all laughing.
73. Oh, I've got a left bloody key in the hang. Well, where'll he be anyway if you're listening?
Yeah, we've been to this.
Here we go, the random lineup of Vauxhalls and Carstairs that have always been there. What did he say? Did he say he'd had it in the yard for?
So he said it'd been
in the garage or something?
In the garage for 12 years.
Since it came off the MOT, that's why it's been sitting in the garage. That's why it's all like surfacey rust rather than it's eating right into it. And it's just all crusty.
If I'd been lying outside, that would have been a.
I would have been
a sorry state.
Gone, like, aye. As predicted, there's no key. Nah.
Nope.
I go and rap the boy's door and just ask him then where it is. Aye, go and ask him. I'll go and stick the petrol in it and that. Let's see the speed people drive through Carstairs at. Mental. Nice professional fuel filler. It would help if somebody had the key or if somebody's answering the door to the house. That would help a lot. See here from it sitting, the alternator belt shredded. If you try and get my hand on the alternator to turn it, no chance, rock solid. But that wouldn't prevent us getting the thing to start, to just move it across the road, provided we had the key. Let's take the keys. See what fire up. Alright, the light's on, but there's no. Nothing. Well, I've had a look round it and the ignition key does nothing. I've tried tapping the starter, but it's not even making a knocking noise. It's just completely dead. It has got the transponder on it, so it's got an immobiliser on it, even though it's just a 1600. Don't know what else to try really. I mean, I don't suppose it's all that important because the engine's coming out it anyway, but it would have been nice if it was, if it would run and was slightly mobile. But aye, but bit stuck. I guess we'll just have to shove it over and winch it on the truck. The Omega, 25,000 mile on it. Aye. Okay, so we've got the Astra back, put the big battery on it off the Vectra. When we turn the ignition, nothing happens. but if I put 12 volts straight to the starter it will turn over, which makes me think maybe ignition switch. Allow me to demonstrate. Right, so if I get this and we just go and stick 12 volts right onto the starter, make sure we're not in gear. So, definitely not in gear, right? That feels like it's in gear. That's neutral, right. If I just give this a bit. I see it's getting dark. Right, we've established that the starter motor definitely works. So, right, let's go and see if we turn it off the key. So that's the ignition switch that came out it. Don't know if there's anything wrong with it, but try it. Just you came out to do? Put the screwdriver in it and turn it and see what happens. You should get ignition lights on it.
It's a bit big to need a wee bit. Got a wee thinner one.
Just push against it, it should turn it. No. Ignition lights. Let's turn it. It was the ignition switch. That's what was wrong with it. I don't know why it keeps locking itself. Let's keep going. Keep going with it. Alright, okay. Oh well, at least it's turning over now. I've just whipped a spark plug out. It's really sooty. And we shall see. If I plug into there, one-handed. I'm just going to see if it's going to see if we're getting a spark out it. Go and turn it and try again. Yep, we've got a good spark, so probably fuel. It's probably got drawn air through the fuel lines, I would guess. I've got no idea about these fuel lines as to what one's what. Can't be very high pressure lines because I've only got those little clips on them. Come on. Right, that's super dry. Go and turn it over a bit. Nope. Well, there's nothing coming out of that. Either way, I'm going to go to full supply issue. Okay. Just going to go and grab myself a nice long piece of wire from this big jumbo here. Because we can use it to go straight onto the fuel pump. It's really handy, this, cutting an entire car loom out. Just join a couple of bits together. Bet you the fuel pump's seized on it. Should really get myself like a power probe, a bit more professional. Fuel pump in these is located under the back seats, and these pumps have got an awful tendency to seize up compared to the old external ones. So I'm just going to strip the wire a little bit and then we'll just see what happens when I put this wire on it. As to whether or not the pump's going to Absolutely nothing. That pump is dead. We can also check it with a voltmeter. I'll get you to turn the ignition. You see that sparking off it there.
Yeah, we'll get a wee chart though.
That pump's dead. I wouldn't have thought. Nah, pump's solid with it sitting for 13 years. So I'll just go and check it. I'll just stick the negate terminal on the door. Touch that there on the voltmeter. That's the voltmeter there. 10.72, and that's well enough for that pump to go. And if you try turning the car over, and I'll see if it puts into the pump. Yep, that does that. Yep, you turned that. It's sending voltage to that. So well, I mean, we need to change the pump anyway because it needs to be a high pressure one. But that's why it's not starting. Right, that's solved. Need to order a pump, which we needed to do anyway. Right, so I've just undone the bolts for the internal fuel pump, which we know is all seized up. Let's try and gently extract it from here because the seal looks nicely intact as well, which is good because if they fall apart it's not ideal. Yeah, this is pretty. It catches on the foot of that filter thing. It goes at the bottom. Oh, something just fell in. Yeah, I'll have to get the torch and have a look. I think it was the bottom of the. Ah, look. Gross. It looks a bit manky in there. I'll have to get the torch for some further investigations. Now, I'm just finishing putting the replacement fuel pump in. It was really messy, like all the rubber around the pump had all gone all perished and gooey, so didn't film it because it was so messy. But that's the pump, replacement pump going in, which was tested on a battery, so we'll see how it goes. But can't find the little filter foot for the bottom of it. Can't find that, so and the old one's different. That there doesn't fit it, and also it's quite minging anyway, so probably end up getting like a brand name pump for it, like a Bosch one, because I think this is an eBay special that's on it. So we'll get this plugged in, stick the battery off the Cavalier on it, and having identified that the ignition switch wasn't working, start it with a screwdriver. Right, that's that. I don't like this pump setup. Far better off with the one with the pump down at the back externally rather than these stupid internal ones. But anyway, right, that's connected up. Let's see if it's going to go. Okay, see if it's going to go. There you go. Right, crank it again. I think there's enough petrol in it. Can I go in? I just sent Kenzo away to get a gallon of petrol for the Red Astra because I couldn't get it to fire up there, and I thought maybe it's needing a bit more in it because he only bought like 2.5 litres of petrol or something the last time at the Forth. But I just tried to crank it again there and it started. I'm needing some for the lawnmower anyway, so it's all good. Because the ignition switch is busted, I'm going to do it off a screwdriver. Listen to that! We 1600s as sweet as a nut. Hey! First time it's been started in 12 years probably. Hey! So we've got a weird problem with the central locking on the Astra. Because if I go and put the ignition on, when I turn the ignition off, it locks the doors. I've actually locked the keys in it there, but the locks have that crap on them. I used one of my spare keys and it was alright, but put the ignition back on and it doesn't open the doors again. But if I go and do that, ignition off, it locks the doors. That's quite annoying. I have to dig the central locking unit out and see what the deal is with that. But just one of those things with it sitting there for so long. Here's a wee demonstration how sweet this engine is. Go and fire it up. Not bad at all. For not having run for probably over 10 years. Minted. There's the throttle. Awesome. I'm delighted to say that it starts and drives anyway, which is some progress. Alright, well there's a bit of a jump forward in the video here because we didn't do anything much with the Astra for a little while. Once it started we did get it down to the garage, but it promptly stopped moving and we've had to source another starter from it, from a car that Stevie Brady's got, another Astra with a small block engine in it. So it does start and move again, and I'll show you all the bits and pieces that we've got for it and what we intend to do with it going forward in 2022. Alright, I'm delighted to say that it starts on the button again now. Very nice. So the reason that we picked up this Astra for the sum of £200, and I mean it is a little bit scabby on the back arches and things, but you know it is actually, it's all surface rust underneath, there's no actual holes in it. But a couple of years ago we picked up an Astra Cesaro, so we've got the front bumper from it and we've got the full interior from it, and we've got these red rubbing strips which Kenzo will probably put on. We've also got absolutely mint Cesaro seats, so the full black interior is going to go in the Astra. And then we've got all this stuff piled off the top of it. At the moment it's got all the stuff from Kenzo's knackered Astra GSI that was cut up into bits inside it, which he's been saying he's going to take out the car for the last 2 months and has not done it, which is a bit normal. But aye, we can quite looking forward to getting on with this. Oh yes, engine. Okay, you can't really see it because it's buried, but underneath there is a very fresh and clean 2 litre 16 valve C20XE, and we've also got an F20 gearbox for it, and we've also got a full set of 5 stud brakes and hubs from a Vectra B, which was my diesel one. Well, a lot of parts went into that, and we've got a full set of sport suspension for this car as well. So we can really build this up on a very tight budget and get a pretty decent car out of it. I've also got a manual steering rack which I'm going to change the power steering out for, just to give it that kind of Mark II Cavalier sort of bellment sort of feel to the driving experience. Well, I mean, we've got loads of work planned for the end of 2021 and into 2022 across the blue Cavalier, the GSI, the Astra Saloon. There's Kenzo's Cavalier Turbo as well, which is going to be making its debut in the next video, where we're going to change the springs out on it because I need the eye baths from it due to the fact that one of them is snapped on the blue Cavalier, which isn't ideal. But he wants standard springs on it so it sits like my GSI, so I've sourced him a full set of KYB original spec springs to go with it, and that'll run nicely with the Bilstein Blacks. But thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.